We are going to be taking a look at contractions again. So today for our lesson, you will need to have out this sheet. You will need to have your scissors, and you will need to have out your glue. Glue stick will work better than glue bottle, okay? Now, remember that contractions are two words that we are going to blend together to make one shorter word. So, if I have let us, for instance, you will remember that we keep the first word let, we get rid of the U, we slide the S over, but we also need to have an apostrophe. So when I'm done, I have let's. So instead of saying let us go to the park, I say let's go to the park. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to be cutting along the bottom here. We're going to cut a straight line across, and then we will cut out each of the boxes. And then what we need to do is we want to cut and paste them into the correct spots. So remember what I said we want to do. We want to make them go from two words to one word. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just cutting these out for you for my paper so that I can show you exactly what I want you to do. I'm just going to cut out the first couple, and the rest you will be responsible for on your own. So the first word that I cut out was the contraction weed. W-E apostrophe D. Now, you'll notice that sometimes the words that we're shortening, sometimes the words end with us. Sometimes they end with have. They can end with not. There's quite a few that end with not. They can end with would, will, should sometimes. So what we're going to do is we need to figure out where these are going to go and what the words mean. Remember that the word before the apostrophe didn't change at all. So for instance, the contraction weed started with we. So that will be a helper for you. Now take a look here. I see two words that start with we. We will or we would. Well, look at the end. What's after the apostrophe? A D is after the apostrophe. We would has a D at the end, telling me that we canceled all that out. We will does not have a D in it. So we know that we apostrophe D, needs to go by we would. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down in the box. Okay? My next word, or my next contraction, is I've. It doesn't belong there. I've. I apostrophe V-E. So that means that my word has to start, my two words here, has to start with I. Is it going to be I have or I would? I have ends with a V-E. I would does not have a V-E in it. So that tells me I have, the contraction for I have is I've. I have gone to the park. I've gone to the park. So I will put I've right here. Okay? Notice that I did not put glue in the entire box. The last contraction we're going to look at together is don't. Don't. Remember, sometimes you have to add part of another word to it, and that is especially true with do not. Do not. Now, notice that do not ends with an O. So what they do here, sorry for the moving paper. So what they do here is they slide the N over and then they get rid of the O, put the apostrophe in its place, and add the T. And that's how you end up with don't. You don't need to scribble on yours like I did mine. I was just doing it to show you. So you'll go ahead and put don't down. Okay? Now, you're going to do the same thing that I just did with you for the other words, the other contractions. You have 3, 4, 5, 7 left. Okay, so these 7 contractions need to go with the words that it belongs with. When you are done, double check that your name is on it, and this can go into your Thursday folder.